pulled out a sawed-off shotgun and fired directly at the officer. The gunshot rang out sharply. Corporal Session immediately created distance, drew his service weapon, and returned fire repeatedly. In just a few seconds, a routine arrest warrant service had turned into a life-or-death gunfight right in a residential driveway. On the 27th of April 2019, at 15000 Mansard Street, Vernon, Texas, Corporal T.J. Session, who at the time had 7 years of experience on the force, was assigned to serve an arrest warrant on Walter Emilio Orellana, 23, a Honduran national. Orellana was wanted on 3 extremely serious felony warrants: continuous sexual abuse of a child, indecency with a child, aggravated sexual assault of a child. These charges stemmed from the abuse of a young girl over a period of several years. The warrant was fully lawful and prioritized for execution. Corporal Session went to the home of Orellana's girlfriend on Mansard Street. Upon arrival, he found Orellana reclined in the driver's seat of a car parked in the driveway. Session approached and confronted the suspect. Orellana initially gave a false name, attempting to conceal his identity. He then tried to shift the car into gear to start it and flee. Everything happened extremely fast. Orellana suddenly reached down beneath the seat and pulled out a sawed-off shotgun. Corporal Session clearly saw the weapon the moment Orellana reached for it. The officer immediately created a safe distance, drew his service weapon, and began firing. Orellana fired first, and Corporal Session returned fire in self-defense. A fierce shootout unfolded right there in the driveway. Under US law, particularly the standard established in Graham v. Connor, 1989, an officer is permitted to use deadly force when there is reasonable belief of an imminent threat of death or serious bodily injury to themselves or others. In this situation, several factors made Corporal Session's use of deadly force fully lawful. Orellana was wanted on 3 serious felony warrants related to child sexual abuse. When confronted, he gave a false name and attempted to start the car and flee, clear evidence of intent to resist. Most critically, he drew a sawed-off shotgun and fired first at the officer. This action created a direct, imminent, and potentially lethal threat. Corporal Session's decision to create distance, draw his weapon, and return fire was entirely justified self-defense. Under both Texas and federal law, an officer has no duty to retreat or use non-lethal measures once attacked with a firearm. The right to self-defense was triggered the moment the suspect fired first. As a result, Corporal Sessions' actions were fully consistent with legal standards and the department's use of force policy. The shootout ended with both parties sustaining serious injuries. Corporal Session was struck by multiple shotgun pellets but survived and later made a full recovery. Orellana was also struck by several rounds from the officer's weapon and survived. After treatment, Orellana was prosecuted and later sentenced to 40 years in prison for using deadly force against a law enforcement officer. He received additional sentences for the child sexual abuse charges as well. The incident was thoroughly investigated according to the Vernon Police Department's standard procedures. The investigation confirmed that Corporal Sessions' actions were entirely lawful and necessary. He acted within his right of self-defense after being attacked with deadly force. A particularly notable aspect of this case is that it was captured by Corporal Sessions' weapon-mounted camera. This was one of the first police shootings in the world recorded entirely from the perspective of the officer's firearm as it was drawn. The camera activated automatically the moment the weapon left its holster, capturing the entire encounter from the initial confrontation through the gunfire to the moment the suspect was subdued. This footage later became key evidence at trial, helping the jury clearly see both the suspect's actions and the officer's split-second decision. This case once again underscores the extreme danger involved in serving arrest warrants on suspects facing serious charges who are willing to use violence. Orellana chose to resist with a firearm rather than surrender, and Corporal Session responded correctly and swiftly to protect his own life. The officer's actions were not only lawful but necessary. Had he not returned fire, he very likely would have been more seriously wounded or killed on the spot.